in some places, there were not even washrooms for women. In a few months, they will have resigned.
Give to gain. Hi, and welcome to this next edition of the Energy Post podcast. This week, we are going to focus on the Women's Month, a day that is celebrated all over the world. But at KenGen, we are going to lead that charge here at the Energy Post podcast. My name is Frank David Ochieng, and I work for KenGen.
My name is Judith Mbogo, and I'm your co-host for the Energy Post podcast. We are excited this March to be discussing all matters about women in energy.
The views and the discussions we'll be having on this show are merely for those of the hosts and the guests, and they do not necessarily reflect the official position of KenGen. Talking about women, we have very exciting women around the world. Judy, who is your favorite woman?
My mother is
right.
actually my favorite because she honestly inspires me a lot. And I usually say if I could do half of what she has done and achieved, I think I'll have lived a good life.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's actually someone I really looked up to in terms of family, orientation, values, professional. She's a doctor, and I want to get to that point at some point. Yes.
Interesting. Myself, I have got very many women in my life. I have 4 daughters. Of course, my mother inspires me a lot. She was saying I was supposed to be on TV. Finally, now I'm on TV because of her. And of course, my wife, a lady that is very bright upstairs and also very naturally as a caretaker. She's the most caretaking woman, the most loving woman I know. But talking of women, today we have got a great woman here in KenGen who not only works for this largest energy producer in East Africa, but she's also one of the leaders who lead the Pink Energy Edition. We'll be talking to you about what Pink Energy is as we go along. But before we get into that, let's introduce Beatrice Chebelyon.
My name is Beatrice Chebelyon Koske. I would say I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Other than that, I'm a supply chain practitioner and also the chairlady of Pink Energy. I would also add that I'm a mother to 2 beautiful daughters and 2 sons.
Of course, it's difficult to introduce you because your profiling itself cuts across.
Yes.
You've been in KenGen for how many years now?
I have been in KenGen for a very long time, since 1999. And that makes it how many years? This May, I think it will be 26 years.
I want to know about Beatrice, the person. So take us back to growing up.
I was born and raised up in Kericho, where I went to my primary school called Countryside, and went to Kenya High.
Boma.
Yes, Boma, for my high school. And then subsequently, I went to India to study for my law degree. Yes. Then after I did my postgraduate diploma with the Kenya School of Law, I joined KenGen. So KenGen essentially is my only employer.
Whoa.
Yes.
So you never knew anything about tarmacking? Did you tarmac?
I didn't tarmac for long, I would say. At that time, when I joined KenGen, KenGen had just separated from Kenya Power.
Kenya Power.
Yes. So they were recruiting, and I was fortunate enough to get a position here. Yes, but I say fortunate enough because working for KenGen is a privilege, and I don't know if my colleagues recognize that, because KenGen is one of the best places that you can work in. Maybe I can say that because I've not worked anywhere else. But yeah, I have not had any reason to regret working here.
Yeah, but of course, I'm sure you have friends working elsewhere.
Yes.
And you can always compare notes.
Yes.
So how was KenGen when you joined in 99?
When I joined in 99, KenGen was, I would say, a very male-oriented institution. because I would go into a meeting and find myself sitting in a room with 10 men, and I'm the only lady. Or I would be on a trip, say on official business, and then you find you are the only lady. Or if there is any other lady, then there are one or two of you. So I would say KenGen has grown. From that 1999 to date, I think we have grown in leaps and bounds. And I would say that because initially we had the mindset of a public institution. But at some stage when we moved to the IPO,
Yes.
then KenGen started thinking of itself as a business. And so I have a lot of historical memories about KenGen. At the time when we were doing the IPO, for example, we didn't really require to comply with so many things. But currently, because we are a listed company, we have a lot of compliance requirements. For example, we didn't even have generating licenses at that time. So they did conduct due diligence, and they found that we needed to acquire those. But that was mostly because KenGen was a public institution,
Yes.
very much public, but now moving to the domain of a listed company, then the compliance requirements became more stringent.
All right.
Yes.
Let us move back a bit, because
Yes.
he's mentioned terms that I'm sure our viewers
Yes.
are asking now, what does she mean?
Yes.
When you talk about IPO,
Yes.
You mean the initial public offer at
yes.
the NSE.
Yes.
Take us back to that point, because I remember most Kenyans remember this was the biggest IPO in this region. How
Yes.
was it to be part of that process?
I think it was a very exciting time. It's also the concept of selling KenGen was also a bit scary, because we had been working in a very public institution. Suddenly, you are being part of the shares of the company are being sold, and so it amounted to a bit of privatization of the company.
Yes.
Even though the government was retaining 70%, there is always that fear of change. Any change always brings fear.
Absolutely.
Yes. So nonetheless, we benefited as employees over that offer, because we were given an employee offer. Personally, I can talk about myself. I bought 30,000 shares of KenGen at that time, which at the time when the offer was made, the price was very high. It was around, there was a time it reached around 40 something.
Yes.
Yes. So I sold my shares when they were still at 30, around 32, 33. So I made a lot of money, because the initial offer was at around 12 shillings.
Oh.
Yes. So I made money, but I still retained some shares, because I still want to be a shareholder of KenGen.
As you've given your story, something came to my mind.
Yes.
A legal expert, but within the supply chain office.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Yes.
And were you the very first to actually go to the supply chain? But we know your background is in legal.
I had worked in the legal department for over 20 years. And as it would be, you get bored of doing the same thing for over many years. So I just wanted a change of scenario. But the beauty about this is that even the work I was doing in legal was closely related to procurement.
Yes.
So in the Act, there are provisions where supply chain is required to manage contracts. And those provisions are related to specific clauses in the Act. So when the company decided to increase a new division, which was contracts monitoring, actually, before it even became compliance and reporting.
Yes.
So I took up that position. But to be able to move, supply chain is a different profession.
Exactly.
And they have their different profession requirements.
Correct.
So I went back to school and studied my CIPS, which is the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply Chain Management certificates.
Yes.
And that helped me to gain a certificate, practicing certificate in the Kenya Institute of Supplies Management. Because if you look at the Act, it provides that you cannot do anything in supply chain unless you are a supply chain practitioner.
Yes.
Yes. So I had to up my game and actually go back to school. I have also undertaken my master's in supply chain. So to prepare myself for that move, I had to go back inward and start preparation so that I was ready to make that move.
So what does that tell to the girls out there that
Yes.
they're saying they want to grow in their career? How do you advise them to?
Recently, there was something called the new instruments in KenGen. In those new instruments, there was a requirement that to pass beyond a certain position, you have to have your masters, you have to have your papers correct, and even professional papers. So in all the forums that we've had with the women, the Pink Energy forums, I have encouraged the women to prepare themselves to move to those senior positions, because you will only have yourself to blame if a position arises and you are not ready because you don't have a master's or you don't have the required professional papers. So this is a clarion call I have held all the time. Whenever we have forums with the women, I encourage them. Even my own colleagues in the office, I am always encouraging them because I tell them, you cannot blame me for not being promoted to an assistant manager or a principal officer because you've not gone back to study. You know what are the requirements that are required of that position, which you aspire to go into. Can you prepare so that when the opportunity arises, you are ready for it?
We are in the Women's Month of March, and the international theme is Give to Gain. Normally on 8th of March, we celebrate International Women's Day. What does this theme of Give to Gain actually mean to you?
There is a requirement for us as women to give, as well as for us even to give to the women and also to the men. I'm looking at it from those two perspectives. What are we giving? What are we giving as women, as a gender? What are we putting on the table so that even we can also gain back something in return? Yes. So it is an issue of reciprocation. What do you bring so that we also gain something in return?
Okay.
Yes. So that is the way I'm looking at it.
All right.
Yes.
Now, let's go down to the basics. Somebody's hearing about Pink Energy today.
Yes.
For the very first time in this month of women.
Yes.
What do you tell them what Pink Energy is and why was it important to have it in KenGen?
Pink Energy is a forum in KenGen where there is sensitization or sensitivity towards the female gender. Now, when I talk about sensitivity to the female gender, I mean making sure that the environment that women are working in KenGen is conducive. And there are so many ways in which that can be done. When I joined KenGen, there were very few women in the company. And if you went further to dig, you'd find that in some places there were no even washrooms for women. So you see, those are the small things that make an environment not conducive. When women were employed, let's say they are posted to Olkaria or Takwel, in a few months they will have resigned because they have gone and found a very non-conducive environment. So the focus of Pink Energy is to make the working environment in KenGen conducive. And some of the things that we've done includes like ensuring that the women have proper washrooms, even showers in the power plants, ensuring that there are nursing rooms. So women who are lactating can go and express their milk, keep it, and take it home in the evening. So by nature, our operating environment, you would say, would not be friendly to women. But we have tried our best to make sure that those pain points are addressed so that the women feel more comfortable in their work environment. Other than that, Pink Energy is also driving the women agenda in ensuring that even we conduct trainings for the women, we do inductions, we make sure that they even know how to operate in those environments where they're working. We also conduct mentorship programs and so on. So these are some of the things that Pink Energy looks into doing. Other than that, we want to ramp up the numbers of women in the organization. And some of the things that we are doing is deliberate push for women to be represented in every arena of this organization.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe I could also add that some of we push whenever there is recruitment or promotion, interviews, we actually deliberately look for women who can fit in those positions so that we can push them and remind them that you qualify for this position, because women have a tendency to sit back and, not step forward to apply for positions. So one of our agenda is to push them and tell them, I think you qualify for this position. Why don't you apply for it?
All right. Talking
Yes.
about your first point about the washrooms,
Yes.
and what you're saying is true. I'm aware that probably in some power plants, it was natural to have only men technicians.
Only men,
And
yes.
therefore, there was no need to have a women washroom. But I
Yes.
think today we are making efforts to making that possible.
Yes.
And the organizations like some in this country that are here moving a step further and saying, why should we have different washrooms for men and ladies? Why not have one the way you have in your house? Is that somewhere you see KenGen going?
I think the office environment is slightly different from the home environment. You interact more closely with your spouse or your sons or your daughters in the house. But in the office, I'm just imagining, for the comfort of women, they would want to have their own private space to be able to change. I'm sure you would not want to walk into a washroom and find a lady changing.
We will
It would
mind.
not be appropriate. You may not mind, but it will not be appropriate.
I'm saying,
And
I'm
so,
I'm
for
saying,
the comfort of the women, still the separation of washrooms and some facilities that require the comfort of women to feel free to do whatever business that they need to do, will still require us to have some separate accommodation. Yeah.
right. Now, looking at the years you've been specifically after Pink Energy, and I'd be happy if you can mention some of the numbers in terms of percentages. What are some of these gains you've seen we are getting through the initiatives of Pink Energy?
Yes. Initially, I think at the time when Pink Energy started, we had about 21% women in the organization. Now we are rising up to 28%. We are working towards obtaining the 30%, at least at the bare minimum. But I think we can even do better than that. If we deliberately seek out the women who are in STEM, the women who are in all other fields, at any material time when we are doing recruitment, we should ensure that we are getting at least 30%. Like you can have recruitment of 25 people, for example. Let us have at least 30% at a bare minimum of women being recruited.
Maybe if you can look at now some of the challenges, what are the things that probably hold back women? Because if you look at them in school, women tend to do very well, even more than men. But now as you advance higher, what happens? What are the challenges holding back women into advancing into these positions?
Women tend to have something called imposter syndrome. They feel that they are not enough for this position. They second guess themselves. They doubt themselves a lot. And one of the work of Pink Energy is to push them and tell them, you are worthy of this position. You can actually manage this. And the funny thing is, when they actually get to that position, you can see them shining. But initially, they really doubted themselves and thought, no, I can't do this. One thing I have observed over the years is that women, if a job is advertised today, a woman will look at the qualification, quickly run down and look at the qualifications required. And then they'll identify something that they don't have. While men will not even have half of those things, but they will apply for the position. While a woman, once they just identify just one item alone, they will say, no, I don't think I can apply for this.
Yeah, because if there are 5 items and I
Yes.
have one of those items,
Yes.
that one is enough. The only thing you will lose
That is the
is not
perspective
being
of men.
invited, but we put your application there.
So as Pink Energy, what initiatives have they been intentional to make sure we are able to encourage the ladies and to just bring them up and mentor them?
Yes. We have a mentorship program in KenGen for women, and it is deliberate for the women to help their colleagues or assist them to see what is their potential really. What is it that they need to do to make themselves better and to make themselves more ready for positions, prepared to be able
Next
to
level.
function in the next level. Yes. Other than that, of course, there are the usual trainings that we normally have that are geared towards mentoring women. And other than that, we also have the interns, the younger people who are coming up from college. As and when we have them on board, we do some training for them so that they can also learn how to operate in this environment. Even though they will be here for a short stint, we teach them how to behave in the workplace. They can even be assigned by the Pink Energy ladies who are in the areas of work where they are, try and pull them to work closely with them so that they can mentor them, essentially. Show them how do you operate in this kind of environment. You can imagine an intern going to a rig. The ladies there then will seek her and try and show her this is how we operate in this kind of environment.
For the young girls who have been told growing up STEM is, mainly for the men. When you talk of science, when you talk of technology, mathematics, those are things that are usually ascribed more to the men.
Yes.
How would you encourage them to actually take up those STEM courses?
I would encourage the women to be prepared to join the workforce. And this workforce includes going to the rigs, being a drilling engineer. We have several even who have done that before. We have the likes of Caroline Kipsang. We have people who work in the rigs like Nelly. There are so many
Nelly's the rig
women.
chick.
Yes, the rig chick. So we have people who have worked in these spaces, other women. So why would it be difficult for you to work in this space and yet you already even have examples of people who have already done it? What I can say is that it is doable. This field is open for all of us. And what women can do as much as men can do. Though I know Frank may not agree with me, but I think women...
You put it correctly.
Women may be even able to do better than men.
Now you spoiled it.
I wanted to do that.
Yeah, by rig, what Beatrice was meaning are the equipment that we use to drill geothermal steam. We'll be talking about those in our future episodes. But now, Beatrice, you've spoken so much about other people and what Pink Energy is doing for women in KenGen. You as the chairlady of KenGen, what has this journey been like to you personally? My
biggest achievement has been when we actually managed to get the women managers. I think that for me was the icing on the cake. Because for me, it is not enough to recruit more women but the bigger thing is Are the women within the organization rising to those levels that you want them to rise? Are they rising to the decision-making, the tables where decisions are made? That is what I want as Pink Energy chair lady, to ensure that women are growing in KenGen. Women are doing their best. Women are getting opportunities to step forward. Women are getting opportunities to be mentored, and they are also getting a proper working environment. I feel very proud that now women are stepping forward with a bit of prodding and pushing. They are now stepping forward to apply for senior positions, assistant managers, even GMs. So that is what I would want to see. I would want to see at least 30% of us being in the exco, so that when decisions are being made, they are not being made by men, where women's voice is not being heard. Let the decisions be made when the woman's voice is also represented there. Let's not make KenGen look like it is a male only. It's a blue energy forum. Let us also have the pink dotting here and there, so that there is a bit of balance.
Yeah, because the 28%, and that's a big number. Blue
Yes.
Energy is the forum that is the counterpart of Pink Energy, and I happen to be the chairman of Blue Energy.
There's also been this talk whereby people say that at times we are focusing more on the girl child,
Yes.
and forgetting the boy child.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that is accurate? Is there something also where you feel that we might have missed to uplift the boy child as well? And as Pink Energy, as the ladies, how can we step in and also, help them as well?
The background of Pink Energy was we were coming from a very disadvantaged place.
Yeah.
So I would not say that men really have been pushed to the edge, but we should. I agree with you that we should not forget them. Even as we push the women agenda. I remember one time when we had a female CEO in this company, the men were beginning to feel very threatened by so many things that were happening that were really geared towards women. Such that even when jobs were advertised, they would feel that these are geared towards the women. So we don't want to get to a place where it becomes a bit painful for the blue energy, for them to see that they are overly disadvantaged because we are pushing the women agenda. Let us just try, and the agenda is to try and get a balance without disadvantaging the other agenda.
Do you see a future where we'll be doing things for employees, because we'll be having equality, we'll be having inclusivity, and therefore if you hold a forum, you're holding it for employees, irrespective of whether they are men or women. Do you see that kind of future?
Yes. Generations grow and everything changes with time. The old stereotypes that women cannot be engineers. Now you find there are so many women in engineering school. There are so many electrical, mechanical, and they are everywhere. Plant operators, you'll find there are women driving these caterpillars.
Very true.
Yes. So even with the TVETs that are now all over the country, the government is pushing for the TVETs, and I'm sure there are many women joining those TVETs. And in some of those TVETs, they have trainings that are STEM oriented. And a lot of our girls are now joining those. So it is an issue of time. It will reach a time when we will sort of start gaining equilibrium in terms of the representation of women and men.
Okay.
Yes, but it is a gradual growth.
So if you look at that lady in the small girl in Embu,
Yes,
who is now watching this show,
yes.
and hoping that they could get some help through Pink Energy, is there a way in which Pink Energy works outside KenGen, or are you just confined within KenGen?
For now, Pink Energy is geared towards internal, but I think going forward, we will be looking at opportunities to go and mentor girls, opportunities to mentor. Even we could start with the environment within our places of operations. Yes, like the girls' schools around there. How are they faring? We can even decide to go and have talks in the village around there and see. Encourage, like during the holidays, you can arrange for forums where you just go and talk to the girls, encourage them and tell them, even you can be like me, because there is nothing that stops you. Your dreams are valid. You can dream to be an engineer in KenGen in the future, and I think it is going to be a good thing.
Yes.
But that, Judy, maybe is something we need to look at as Pink Energy, just to do, even starting with our local environment first, before we move to other forums. Like Nakuru County, we can look at the community around Ontario. How do we encourage the women, the girls? This would require, like during the holidays when they are home, then you can arrange a forum for them to come. We have a discussion.
Because that is your pipeline. That's where your raw material comes from.
Yes.
If you don't catch them from there,
Yes.
it will not be very easy to get them in here.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think to also add on that, we can say some of the KenGen women are already doing it individually, whereby they go and mentor the girls from various schools. And also we have the forum of the KenGen Foundation, who are also doing mentorship of girls and also boys as well in various primary schools and secondary schools and also university. And also, as you've mentioned, through the communities, the schools, that first and foremost KenGen is able to support. There have been efforts whereby we go and just talk to the girls and encourage them and work with them step by step. So this is things that have started, things that some have been ongoing, and also on an individual basis, you'll find people are actually mentoring people who are not, they just don't work with, but they're coming up. So I think, yes.
And even mentoring students, on
Correct.
an individual basis.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you were to just give us your parting shots today as the chair of Pink Energy, as Beatrice, and of course being the Women's Month, what would be your parting shots?
Women have come from very far and we are still growing. We are still escalating our curve, and we need to be prepared as women. And the preparation involves going back to school, being ready for the market, and actually stepping forward when opportunities arise.
We can see that Pink Energy is also a forum that was started a couple of years ago, and we can actually see the achievements that it has brought to the women of the company of KenGen. Basically, we just want to uplift the women and make sure that they're in the center of bringing energy transition into not just KenGen, not just Kenya, but into Africa. So thank you very much for being with us.
So this, as you've heard, has been the Energy Post podcast. You've had a lively discussion here about the month of women, the International Month of Women. And this month, they are saying, give to gain. Those are lessons we draw all the way from the Bible for those of you who are Christians. So this year, let's focus on give to gain. And for KenGen, we'll do nothing but all to give you power, to power yourself and power the country. Keep it here. Watch this, share with your friends, subscribe, and remember, this is the Energy Post podcast.